Hello everybody, this is the Daydreamer with Daydreams and Nightmares, and this is my video entry into He's Got Freakin' Issues. For his contest, he's asking that everybody is 18 plus. He wants you sub to his channel. He wants you to give a shout out, and I do believe he wasn't asking for any restrictions on that. So rather than trying to, for the first time, I'm not going to try to promote somebody who is a low sub count. I'm going to shout out a couple guys that have been very supportive of my channel, very active in the comic book community, and yeah, anyway. And then he has a series of, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different questions or requests that he has for his giveaway as well. So I am subscribed to his channel. I am definitely 18 plus. I am also going to leave down in the description below a link to his channel and his giveaway, so you can go check him out as well. Now the two guys, I'm going to shout out two guys who've been very supportive of my channel for a while. They are both above what would be considered low channel counts, probably above what I'm at right now as well. But once again, they have both been very supportive of my channel, and I don't know if I've had an opportunity to thank them or to shout them out before, but it is going to be Tat Comics and Kyle Rowe. Are the guys that I'm going to shout out just to say thank you for being very supportive of my channel. Now, I want to know a little bit about yourself and your favorite pastimes. When I am not busy working a 50-hour work week and I am not making YouTube content and or surfing the web and checking out everybody else's channels, what little time I do have left, I would consider myself a media guy in the sense that I like to read, whether it be comic books or novels or anything along those lines, always trying to stretch my imagination, increase the amount of daydreaming that I can do. Also, I love watching television shows. I just did a binge session with the new release of Iron Fist on Netflix, and try to get out to the movie theaters every once in a while. I just saw Old Man Logan recently in the theaters. I'm planning on going to see Ghost in the Shell. I really did enjoy Old Man Logan, and it is kind of the reason why I'm going to show off one of the books that I have in front of you here. If I this time of year it's starting to get nice out again. I do enjoy going for walks, getting out on my bike, going for hikes, or going out with my camera and taking pictures. Those are some of my favorite pastimes. What got me into collecting? That is just I've always had a passion from being a very young kid. Any book I could get my hands on, just to get an opportunity to read something. I think in grade school I was already reading at a high school level because I had read every book I could get my hands on that was at that level. So I just kept going further and further along. I also managed to get my hands on some comic books, which, you know, that's, I said, just another thing that I could have an opportunity to read. Now, what got me more serious into comic books, I'm going to actually show here as well. Comic book horror story, the comic book that's center right now, would probably be the closest thing that I have to a comic book horror story. Vampirilla, number 1, number 3, and number 4 is what I have here. I've done quite a bit of moving around. I've finally been settled in the same area. I just bought a house a few years ago, so actually this is probably the longest time I've had roots. But in all the moving around, I had boxed up a lot of my comic books, and that's what I've been telling people. I've been working on trying to unbox them and get them all organized and cataloged and figure out what I have, what I don't have. But in one of those moving processes, moving from one place to another, one of the boxes that I had with my comic books broke open and fell out of the box in the middle of a rainstorm. And fortunately and unfortunately, in the case of these books right here, fortunately most of the books that fell out were Image, Valiant, and Malibu comic titles that I could probably easily, even today, replace for under $2. Not said so much with these three. Um, these were among the ones that had fallen out into a puddle in the rain. And it's not so easily seen here, but more so in the back here. You can just see the water damage that's on this, all of this where it got wet, and just up close, and you can see where it's starting to peel and or starting to buckle in here. I don't know if you can see that. There's like grooves in here from where it's essentially gotten wet and then puckered up from being wet. Now I've had a problem, and actually water stains here as well. Um, I've had problems getting rid of these because I haven't been able to replace them. And same goes. This is Harris Comics #1 from November of '92 of Vampirilla. This is #2, and actually this one's even worse. You can see actually how all that water damage has actually taken all the color away from here, and it's actually on the outside of the mylar here, and that entire top part here inside have all taken the water damage from that, and actually you can see it up here as well where it's gotten water damage. I haven't been able to find replacements for any of these yet, so that's why I'm holding on to them. I'd rather have a water damaged version than none at all, and I actually have 2 copies of #4 here, Vampirilla as well from '92. One here and one there, and both the same. You can see all the water damage and where it's starting to, I said, sometimes it's hard to see, but like it's starting to pucker up here because of all the water damage. Just creases that are all inside here that just, it's a tragedy. I love these comic books, and I wish that I had them in better condition, but all 4 of these represent a very, very, very bad day in my comic book collection, and definite horror story watching all those comic books tumble out of that box into a puddle of water. Now, he wants you to show your favorite books. I have 2 trade paperbacks. It's easier to show these 2 off than it is to grab and pull out all the books. I've said before in a lot of my videos that I have been a casual reader and collector of comic books until I got to DC Vertigo and Neil Gaiman and Sandman and the entire DC Vertigo universe, where I started actually collecting comic books. I had pull lists, and I was getting them on a regular basis, and this is the series of comic books that started me in that, and among my favorite comic books that I have and collect, and just try to narrow down the time on this, just because these 2 trade paperbacks. This one here is Volume 1. This is trade paperback of Neil Gaiman Sandman, Volume 1, Preludes and Nocturnes, and then this one here is the Doll's House, which is the next 8 books in the series there as well. So that's 15 books represented in these 2 trade paperbacks. The first, like I said, 15 books in the series of I shouldn't say the original. This is Volume 2 of the Sandman. But the original Sandman from Marvel is nothing like this. And that is part of what drew me to it. The artwork on the outside by Dave McKean, and the stories by Neil Gaiman, bringing a more adult topics and perspective to comic books is what really got me into it with this, and Hellblazer and Animal Man and Swamp Thing with DC Vertigo. I'm also a big fan of Spider-Man and the X-Men, with the all the different X-Men, whether it be X-Factor X-Men, New Mutants that I was reading as well during this period, so those are among my favorite books. But like I said, trying to keep this short, I figured I'd just show those off. And then my favorite variants. I've shown this one off before, actually I've shown both of these off in other videos, but I recently got a pickup from Midtown Comics. I was a big reader of Tank Girl back in the 90s and don't have any of those anymore, so I went and looked, and they had some of the newer versions of Tank Girl, and this is a variant version by Black Frog of Tank Girl Gold #1. This is the B cover. Really do like this. And I'm a little biased in this as well. I'm a big, huge fan of Wolverine, and getting back into comics with the storyline of Wolverine, I had discovered that they had gone in the direction of two different angles of the Wolverine story with the Old Man Logan and the X-23. And just, I mean, like I said, a few weeks ago I just went and saw this movie, and I suppose that's why I'm kind of biased, why this is one of my favorite variants right now. This is the manga version of Old Man Logan #4 from, I believe, the 2015 run. This was sent to me by Doom 143. Absolutely love it. It has both Wolverine as Old Man Logan and X-23 on the cover here, and those are two books that I'm currently into and reading right now as well. Trying to get myself into the, I've been out of the game for a while, and trying to get myself into reading some of the more current stories. These are two that definitely appealed to me, and said so. This variant that was sent to me is one of my favorites right now as well. Actually, I hope that answers He's Got Freakin' Issues questions. Definitely go check out his channel. Nice new addition to the comic book community. Once again, I will leave the description down below for his giveaway. Definitely check that out. And thank you for watching.